Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. I'm Martin Warwick and we're here at the Small Cells World Summit 2014 at Excel in London's Docklands. Now, mobile network operators are increasingly turning to small cells to meet coverage and capacity demands. But what are the main factors driving this decision and what are the deployment challenges faced by the telcos?
Mobile network operators are moving from macro cells to also deploying small cells to provide broader, denser coverage. So we've looked at some of the drivers for this, and it can vary by use case and by region, of course, but in addition to capacity and coverage, we see that operators are looking to drive revenues from value-added services like location-based services, and also reduce the cost of data delivery.
What we've seen with small cells today, and more specifically in LTE small cells, has been sort of a measured move from coverage to capacity. So a small cell provides significantly increases in capacity, better performance and experience for the end users. So you start to augment the network and service that demand for the data services. And then lastly, I think as we move forward, you'll see an opportunity to deliver better services over that. So whether that's services within a home or services in the enterprise based on an understanding of location, presence of the users in that environment, you can envisage the operators as well as even other application developers providing a myriad of services to take advantage of the small cell network itself.
What do you think are the key challenges, the problems that are being faced by telcos as they begin to deploy and implement small cell solutions?
I think the key thing is finding the right total cost of ownership model. There's so many parties involved in deploying small cells, from the operator who delivers the spectrum, the vendors who provide the equipment and the backhaul as well as the radio access itself, but also you need the physical structure. So be that a lamppost, for example. So there's lots of issues around acquisition of lampposts and then the physical installation on these structures as well, and actually managing that whole process. So it's very different to acquiring a traditional rooftop or field for a macro cell.
Recently, Huawei announced a new business model called crowdsourcing small cell deployment. This new business model may solve these issues. For example, the site owners like B&Q or Tesco or IKEA in this country, we say, okay, I deploy small cell and lamp site, pickle those solutions in your building, and you also will have precise advertisement for your customer, and also you may have location-based services to understand where and when, how many people in which corner. So that will help those building owner to love to accept to build the small cell deployment.
So is current small cell technology capable of delivering telco requirements, or is more development needed?
Small cells have been deployed now in enough volume that the algorithms are proven. And so, no, technically, I don't think that there are any barriers whatsoever for the deployment of small cells. The barriers, the obstacles are commercial, our business model, are changes in attitude, that's all.
Today we're delivering small cells with macro-like KPIs. With the handoffs and handouts and hand-ins and all the mobility and the performance that we would expect from the macro, we're delivering with small cells, and in fact, actually, we're improving the overall performance of the network. The macro gets better when we introduce small cells, interestingly enough. Is more development required? Absolutely. And it speaks to how fast we can optimize the network in order to achieve that. So there's a bit of intelligent work that's going on to achieve that level of performance, and now it's just a matter of optimizing it, and that's where the development is focused on with small cells today.
How do small cells fit with the move towards NFV, Network Functions Virtualization, and what is their likely role in future 5G networks?
There's a lot where you can see synergies in terms of when we look at small cells and small cell gateways. Can those gateways be virtualized? Do they need to be on-premise? Can they be virtualized? Likewise, if we think about the evolved packet core, can we push the evolved packet core, the operator's mobile core, closer to the end user, closer to those small cell networks? We've talked about doing that for years. It's been tough in the past. because that's been really heavy iron that you would have to re-engineer to be lower capacity. Can we do that more easily now with NFE? Definitely, right? And if we think about some of the enterprise applications, will NFE allow us to push more capabilities towards the edge of the network because we can now do it on general purpose equipment? It should, right? So we generally don't see a lot of discussion of NFE or SDN, which sometimes goes along with NFE, in this group, in the small cell group, but there's a lot of synergies there that I think as the two evolve, we should see them coming together much more.
The product that we've announced at this event is called OneCell. It's an enterprise and public space small cell solution. And one of its attributes is that it actually works on more of what I would call a standard IT infrastructure. So the baseband processing is centralized. It's a cloud RAN architecture, if you're familiar with that term. And and it runs over standard Ethernet networks. So it's following that model of being a sort of more IT-friendly environment, which is what NFE is all about.
What role do you see for small cells beyond 4G and into future 5G networks?
Fundamental, absolutely fundamental. There's no two ways about it. You have to have small cells, absolutely have to have. Now what technology you use, what frequency you use, licensed, unlicensed spectrum, Wi-Fi, 4G, LTE advanced, it's all kind of a mishmash, I hope. The only thing I would like not to be a mishmash is the spectrum in terms of what pieces of spectrum we use globally. So it would be really nice to have a harmonized spectrum map. So regulators, could you just agree globally on what spectrum we use for mobile data? That would be great.
Well, you said 5G, so I'm almost forced to say there is no 5G. But if there was going to be a definition around 5G that we could really support, is that it's going to be more focused on the service functionalities and the functions that a network gives you, rather than the what's previously been done, which is focus on the access portion of the network. We are going to see more heterogeneous network type of deployments or coordination between various access networks to make it work. If 5G, and I'll put quotation marks around that, will be, I think, a lot more focused on just enabling quality of service across networks, where the blurring of the line between what is a service provider network and what is an enterprise networks, becomes blurred, and that we become more focused on just what is enabled through those networks. And again, the physical asset of where normally a network would be will move because the network function virtualization and software-defined networking. And we're going to have more capacity on demand, services on demand, applications on demand, frankly, network operations on demand.
That's all from TelecomTV for now, so thank you for watching and we'll see you soon.